What's going on, everyone? This is Cadman Cycling. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day. And if you're new here, welcome. This channel is all about building the Zwift community, showing some races, doing breakdowns, giving some tips and tricks. So if that's what you're interested in, please go ahead and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. But today we're back in Watopia. This is the Herd Winter Racing Series, going one lap around the Ocean Lava Cliffside Loop. It's a total of 12 miles, so a pretty short race. 12 miles, 19 kilometers, with one climb about halfway through. So as I mentioned, this is part of the Herd Racing League. They're one of the bigger groups, if not the biggest within Zwift. So while I'm not part of the group, I was able to join this race. So first off, thanks for having me. It's all about kind of building the Zwift community. That's what I'm trying to do with this channel. But having those groups where riders can get to know each other within Zwift, race against each other, join group rides together, that's what it's all about. It's all about the community. So I love everything they're doing. They actually also had a really cool live streaming video of this event. I didn't know at the time, so I would have had it on during the race. Would have been cool to follow, but I'll add the link in the description. They have their own YouTube channel. And it actually featured me for a little bit. I think at the start, maybe a minute in, one of their screens was following me for a little bit. Not long, because I am a Cat C rider. This is a race for all categories. So it's category E, which basically means everyone. So anyone from Cat A to D kind of joins the same race. So there's not really any sandbagging, but I joined this race as a Cat C rider, kind of knowing A's and B's will beat me. I'm not going to contest the win here. So I obviously got dropped pretty quickly. But that helped me not feel like I had to go out too hard. I kind of just took it easy. At least the plan was to take it a little easy at the start, see kind of where I fell in the group. Generally, it's somewhere in the middle. So we have 88 riders. I guess Cat C would kind of be that 50th to 75th percentile. So a little below the average rider. And that's about where we are now. So 48th out of 88. Just kind of trying to find my group, find a few riders that we can work together going forward. So we're almost a mile in. Again, this is a pretty quick race. So it's different than Crit City. It's not multiple laps, it's just one. Going into this race, I saw the elevation gain was around 500 feet. So it's a little bit more hilly than Crit City, but Crit City is kind of all in rollers is where you get your elevation. This is more one climb in the middle. I didn't know that going in, but kind of figured it out as I realized kind of at the start we were maybe 3 miles in and didn't have much elevation, so I knew something was coming. But here kind of found that first group of a few other riders that I can go ahead and start working with. Looks like they all have Tron bikes. I saw a lot of riders in these green jerseys too. I think those are the official Herd jerseys, or at least one of them. So yeah, I won't show the whole race today. Again, wasn't contesting the win, but legs felt decent. Went out not crazy fast, so like I said, the plan was to kind of not go crazy fast at the start, find my group, and then kind of see where it went from there. That's easy to plan, harder to do once you start the race. My heart rate's kind of up to 180 just a mile in. Again, it's been very flat so far, so went a little bit harder than I was planning to, but again, it's a race. You push yourself. That's kind of where you find yourself. So went ahead and skipped forward. This is just getting to the start of the climb. So almost 5.5 miles in of a 12-mile race. So again, just about halfway through this race is where this climb starts. Generally in the same kind of area. I think we were in a group around 48th, either caught or were caught by a few more riders. But we have a bigger group now, but generally in the same position within the race, going into this climb. So again, the heart rate's pretty high here. It's at 190, 191. So the legs were feeling really good, but the heart rate is elevated, and I'm just This is a great picture of kind of that hill ahead, just knowing I'm going to have to go up it. Climbing is the area kind of my racing, of my biking that I need to work on most. So I'm actually kind of happy that I got to test myself in a race against some other riders, just kind of see where I'm at, see how much I have to improve. I definitely came into this, like I said, at bottom of the hill was 190 beats per minute, so the heart rate was already kind of high. Legs felt good here, so I went kind of hard up the first part of this climb, but the heart rate starts getting pretty elevated. I realized that we're about halfway through, so I'll still need to save some energy for the rest of the race. And I actually kind of get dropped here. Any hill kind of spreads out a group, so I knew we weren't going to go up this in a huge bunch. And it really spread everything out. We had one rider go really hard. There's a few other Tron bikes ahead of me, but I do end up getting dropped here. Just again, kind of, this was a bit of a more casual race for me, just because it was kind of everyone was included, but obviously still giving it my everything. It's just that heart rate was just too high, and I know there's too much left. We're only halfway through the race, so I do want to conserve some energy, not only to make it to the top of this hill, but to make sure I have energy left at the end. So I get dropped there, sitting 49th out of 88. I dial down the watts a little bit. This is where I start looking for riders behind me. So it looks like they're kind of spread out, and that happens on this climb, but we got one 6 seconds behind, one 10 seconds, one 15. Then it looks like there's a bigger group that starts about 24 seconds back. So I went ahead and skipped forward again. It was a lonely few miles there riding on my own. But I do have my drafting boost, and I see a group coming from behind me. It's just two riders, but at this point there's only 3.5 miles left. It's these two riders and then not another group for 50 seconds behind. So as they approach, I go ahead and use that drafting boost just to make sure I can jump on. I realize if I'm not up to speed, they'll fly by me, and then it'll just kind of be a lonely ride into the finish line for me. So I decided to use this drafting boost just to make sure I caught on with them rather than saving it to the finish. Again, just wanted to make sure that I was able to jump on. So we'll see how it goes from here. 3 miles left. This is the fun part, going down the hill. It's not fun going up, but then rewards you when you kind of get to just super tuck here, pick up some speed, let the heart recover a little bit as we're all going to the bottom. So yeah, kind of legs are still feeling really good. This race, it was all about kind of just my heart rate got up there and trying to conserve energy as much as I could to make it to the finish line. But legs feel strong. At this point, only 2.5 miles left. I kind of feel like I know I'm going to be able to stay with these two. So it's kind of just getting into tactics. Looking into it, I'm really thinking draft as much as I can, save energy, and then see what happens at a sprint finish. I'm usually not one to go early from a mile out or half a mile out. And I don't think it would work here because there's two other riders that would be able to work together to catch me. But just looking at the other groups, there's a group behind us, but they're 49, 50 seconds behind. So with only 2 miles left, not really catchable. There's a rider or two riders about 10 seconds ahead, but looking at their watts per kg, they're still pushing it really hard. One of those riders had actually passed me earlier when we were kind of just, when I was dangled out there just on my own. He flew by me with a high pace, so I kind of assume we're not going to catch them. And I did just go ahead and skip forward about a mile. Still, me and these same two riders starting to think about tactics with only 0.6 miles left. Heart rate is up there, 192, 193. We did just come up. There was a little bit of a riser coming up to the finish line. It was interesting because my connection must have been bad, so the riders disappeared for a little bit. So I ended up pushing like 400, 500 watts up the hill, just because I couldn't see any of the other riders, just making sure I didn't get dropped. And then it all popped back, and I had a 2 or 3 second advantage that I ultimately gave up because they were also pushing to catch up to me. But I think that's why the heart rate got a little elevated a little early here. But still, legs are feeling good. Ideally, I want to be in the 3rd position here with just 0.3 miles left. Yeah, it's all about the sprint now. I want to go early. I want to keep the cadence high. It's not a large group sprint. It's just 2 others. Again, don't want to react too late, but because there's only 2 of them, I can kind of pay attention to their watts per kg, see when someone starts to go, and immediately push it. 900 feet, it looks like the pink Tron bike starts to go a little bit, and that's where I just step on it. It seems like both of them slowed down a bit, but I've already started my sprint. I'm going all out from about 0.15 miles out, and I just put down everything I have, which the legs felt good, so it was a little more power than I usually have at the end of races. So I was able to jump ahead of those couple of riders, but this was a really fun one. Thanks Herd for putting this on. I enjoyed it. There's a big group of Herd riders, so definitely a great place to learn, a great place to get better. But guys, thanks for watching, and please subscribe if you like these videos. But until next time, this is Cadman Cycling. Bye.